So in addition to an anti-dog fighting workshop, you also talk to high schoolers about the link and animal careers. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Well, the link, I guess, so folks know we're not talking about like sausage links or anything like that. The link is when we're referring to the connection between animal abuse, domestic violence, and other sorts of human-directed violence. Studies are showing that, or studies have shown for a while, in fact, that children who are exposed to violence, whether it be human violence or animal violence, do grow up to be violent, can grow up to be, or have a greater risk, of growing up to be violent offenders against human beings. Many of the most noted cases, especially many here in the Midwest might remember Jeffrey Dahmer, who was later discovered to have been an animal abuser. Because of this situation where animal abuse unfortunately gets neglected in young children, a lot of times these kids are acting out on feelings, on emotions that they don't know how to express, how to resolve, and the one victim in the household that really can't speak for themselves and fight back would be the pet. So the link in and of itself is acknowledging that if someone is involved in animal abuse, it can lead to other sorts of violence. And with that type of program, whether we're using the One Last Fight film to show how dog fighting is related to domestic violence or community violence. We also have patterns of abuse. I'm not sure if I mentioned that one. Patterns of abuse also deals with the connection between animal violence and human-directed violence, more specifically. And it has some very compelling interviews with some victims of domestic violence who talk about how their abusers victimized their pets as well as themselves. And there's an old saying that you can see child abuse in a household without ever seeing a child. If you see that an animal is being abused, there's a good chance that there are more victims in that household than just that animal. So the link is the way we try to open eyes and encourage folks to really take animal abuse seriously. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be going down to the University of Illinois Veterinary College this month to talk to the veterinary students there about the link. And it's something that even veterinary professionals want to learn more about.
Oh, excellent. So you've created some video games that you work with the older children, like Pet Jeopardy. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I found out that today's students just don't go for you writing on a board anymore. I remember when I first started Humane Education, just my appearing in the room, wearing the Anti-Cruelty shirt, maybe a picture of an animal was enough to instill this awe and wonder. But today's kids just don't fall for that anymore. So the key to a successful program these days is being interactive. So using a bit of my inner child myself, I said, well, if I'm going to be sitting in a room listening to this guy who I don't know and I probably don't care about talk to me about a puppy for 45 minutes, he better make it worth my while. So I did create a series of games. First, a couple of games that I run off a computer that are theme show based. So we have first Pet Jeopardy, which is an incredibly successful program. We love doing this with field trips, because when I get a group of kids to come to the shelter, I have a lot more access to equipment that really helps enhance the experience. So when kids come on a field trip, I almost literally transform our auditorium into a game show room. Mm-hmm. And we get to pick one of the kids from the class. They are the audience. They get to be the contestant. And we're talking they go through the whole game show experience. I play the game show host. We have a great big screen in the front of the auditorium with the game board on it. There's music and sound effects coming from the speakers surrounding the auditorium, and the kids really do enjoy that. And while they don't realize it, they're also being educated too, because I'm actually trying to get them to think about what you need to do to be a good pet owner. So Pet Jeopardy deals with pets. Then I have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Animal Shelter Edition, where these kids are playing millionaire, just like on television, and we put them in the hot seat. One child gets to sit on a stage in a chair answering the questions. The rest of the classroom is the audience. They provide the lifelines. We have 50-50. We have phone a friend. Little secret. I always tell them at phone a friend, okay, that they can ask anyone in the room, because I don't have a phone for them to call someone, they can ask anyone in the room what they think the answer is. In all the time that I've been playing this game, I've only had one student actually ask me what the answer was. And I'm in the room, so by rule, they can't ask me.
That's true.
And I won't lie either. I won't mislead them. I won't pretend like I don't know the answer. I will tell them the truth. And in all the time we've been playing that game, I've only been able to give away the $1 million prize once.
Really?
What is the $1 million prize? You're going to have to win the game to find out. And then, of course, the newest game that we just created, I was really trying to figure out what we could do for primary age students. You know, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. We wanted them to have one of those great mind-blowing experiences, a nice interactive game, like a game show that they could participate in, and that would really keep their attention, because anyone who works with, you know, primary age children, you know, it's kind of a challenge keeping them even to sit still for more than, you know, 5-10 minutes. So we created a game called King of the Mountain, and in King of the Mountain, the class working together helps Billy Bob the Billy Goat work his way all the way to the top of a video simulated mountain to beat the evil dwarf king to get his crown and his treasure. And I'm going to tell you, for anyone who works with kindergarten kids, when they get excited, it is something to see. And when those kids finally get Billy Bob to the top of the mountain, the cheers like you wouldn't believe. And I actually did that program in an auditorium with not one, not two, not three, not four, but five primary age classes combined. So we're looking at about almost, I would say about 100 5- and 6-year-olds that paid attention through the whole thing, and we're getting into the game and getting excited and enthused. And really, that's what we want to do with these programs. We want these kids to get enthusiastic, to want to learn more, to have a good experience. And that's one of the biggest challenges about humane education, is that we can go into a classroom and help these kids have a positive experience that has to do with animals. And hopefully, by these things that we do, I plant a little seed so that these kids want to go out and learn more about animals, which is really the most I can hope for.
Excellent.